AskReddit by 19. How do you feel about using nuclear energy as a power source? It's a CNC way of boiling water, and safer and less impactful than people think. Just expensive. It's actually pretty funny that of all the various ways of getting electricity, it all really comes down to just two types. One is make a thing spin and the other is photovoltaics. Incredibly fucking frustrated that we're killing 8 million people a year with fossil fuels, and fucking up the planet, instead of having already switched to far cleaner, safer nuclear that would solve all our problems. It's funny how people get all up in arms about nuclear safety, but seems absolutely fine with the far bigger climate crisis that we're currently creating due to dependence on hydrocarbon fuels. Yes. Disasters like Chernobyl and Fukushima have unjustly destroyed nuclear's reputation. It's the closest thing that we have to completely sustainable zero emissions energy. Not to mention that to fairly compare nuclear and say, coal, you need to also keep track of the number of people injured, killed, displaced, etc. by the coal industry. We hear a lot about Pripyat but not so much about Centralia, for example. Centralia was much smaller, but there are a lot more coal-related deaths overall compared to nuclear energy, and yes, that includes counting the bombings. It's the absolute best choice for energy. People are afraid of what they don't understand, and that's unfortunate for nuclear power. It doesn't help that big coal likes to scare people from nuclear energy neither. Insert Simpsons jokes here. Lisa, I want to buy your rock. I live within an hour of 2 plants. They provide good jobs and cheap power for us. I approve. Please do. The whole world could be solar, nuclear, and hydro. The nuclear reactors wouldn't even be done before I was retired, and I'm still all for it. Don't forget wind. I feel great about it. Then again, I'm a nuclear engineer, so maybe I'm biased. But to be fair, I got into nuclear because I wanted to hell make more reactors, and better. On the cost and stagnation issues, no one described the problem better than John H. Crowley in 1985. https://babel.hathtrust.org/cgi/pt?? I do see 1.312100127215334 amp ;sec 175 . I live in France. I do use nuclear. It's the most efficient for how clean it is and the best source of energy we have at the moment. The whole world should be using it while working on renewables, etc. Any propaganda you hear about waste etc. is actually tiny compared to fossil fuels. The risks are lower than people are told to. All the scare about nuclear energy is based on a combination of extremely outdated info, like 50-year-old outdated info, and propaganda lobbying from coal oil companies. Nuclear energy is extremely efficient and very safe. Also outdated designs. A lot of those early designs, including the Chernobyl reactors, were made to produce weapons-grade plutonium as a key design feature. This meant hotter, higher flux cores than are necessary for optimal efficiency and safety. Now that the Cold War is over, newer reactor designs are made a hell of a lot safer than the old ones. The new style reactors are so efficient they can even reuse fuel deemed spent by older plants. It's the cleanest energy that's on the scale we need. The waste power generated is unmatched. Recycling nuclear waste? Hell yeah. I have no issue with nuclear power. I have issue with companies and governments fucking it up. Cleaner than fossil fuels. Bring it. Best way of doing it right now. People are concerned about safety, but that's been an issue every time the human race has innovated on energy. Fire upon its growth as a power source probably burned down lots of villages. Coal caused sickness and such. Crude oil is terrible for the environment, and so on. It's cleaner and safer than the other options, So we should be using a lot more of it. The climate scientists also say we need to double the amount of nuclear we currently have to solve climate change in time. As an Australian, I don't understand why Australia does not have nuclear plants already. Especially considering how much uranium we have. Maybe if we had one, Queensland wouldn't be pay so bloody much for their electricity. I feel it is ridiculous that the people who are so obsessed with green energy never promote the cleanest and most efficient source of fuel we've ever known. Yup. Hey guys, let's all drive electric vehicles and save the world. But not worry that the electricity to charge them is coming from a power source that probably isn't environmentally friendly. I'm not sure there's a better, faster way to deal with climate change than building an absolute shit ton of nuclear power plants. Safest, cleanest, most efficient. Just stupid regulations about re-enrichment that cause it to create nuclear waste. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, people are extremely scared of nuclear anything. Hell, even I'm worried because accidents happen and terrorists exist. But with the proper oversight, I'm all for it. Good news. 3 Mile Island, worst nuclear disaster in US history, posed absolutely no danger to the surrounding population. People received a small fraction of medical scan. In roughly the same realm as living in a brick house. Fukushima was bad, but the evacuation arguably caused more death and suffering than the actual nuclear disaster. 0 deaths related to radiation. Either way, it was nowhere close to the level of the giant fuck-off tsunami that caused the disaster. IDK enough about it to have an opinion. That's my opinion. Smart. Why are people against them? Beyond me. IDK, why we bother, like my ass doesn't give the same amount of power to fuel entire continents. Far safer than coal and fossil fuels. Bring it on in a good mix with renewable energy. The amount of green energy we need to decarbonize by electrification is staggering. The argument is change every aspect of modern life though energy throttling, including poor and developing nations who will get fucked up by that, or nuclear. We literally can't build solar fast enough. It's not possible in most political climates and it's not feasible in almost all.